We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about crypto as a general. We have to talk, or in general, we have to talk about Bitcoin being on the rise again a little bit, but what is really important is the macro outlook, and for that we are going to look at gold today, as gold today is up very much at all-time highs once again. Where's Stu when we are talking about all of this, right? But gold is really up, and there are other things that are showing that this cycle is not over yet, that there is volatility to be expected in the next days and weeks to come, and that there's more likely than not a massive rise of Bitcoin coming very, very soon. So make sure to stay tuned all the way through, as we're also going to address some of the altcoins that are doing well at the moment, plus when the rest is going to do well. So make sure to stay all the way through, also for some views on Ecomi and Vivi. Okay, good morning, each and every one of you. We are looking at Bitcoin here. We have dropped out of our range, just to recap, from something like an very nasty head and shoulders pattern that we bearishly retested, and now we might be going lower here, right, overall. But this is only the short-term story. I did show you global M2 yesterday. I did show to you that on the monthly, we are not there yet with regards to the TSI indicator that we are always observing. We did not hit the trend line yet, and so on. But today we want to look at something else that gives us a little bit more confidence, and maybe to address the full picture here and really quickly getting rid of all the lines. I saw a video yesterday of Crypto saying that usually we do end such a move and we go into deep correction if we do have two long wicks side by side on the monthly, as we did that here, right? Or here, that this looks very toppy, right? And that is somewhat true. But also we did have two long wicks, not parallel like here, but also here, and this deep correction, right? So there's somewhat truth to it, and I want to give credit there to him that we do see this here as well. But and that could lead to this candle also turning big red like this, right? And we get a steep September correction. But the story needs a full picture. You can never take one thing like wicks, or because we also had this shooting star marking the massive top or whatever of a move, and yes, then we corrected here to the downside, but we did not end the cycle there, right? So keep that in mind while we're discussing about this. I do think that we can see more blood in the streets this month, but overall the direction seems to be another one. And what indicates that short term we might go into something is that we have actually printed a bear cross on the stochastic RSI after this bullish phase. And maybe this will behave like this and be very short-lived, but if it's not, and it might be at least a month, right? Then we are in for more blood. And that will, of course, bleed also the altcoins a little more, right? Now, where I'm heading with this, being excited all the time, is this. We have gold, right? And gold had this parabolic move, as we see here. And this parabolic move broke a while ago, and then we said, okay, by the way, long wicks right here on the upside, doesn't matter sometimes. Then we said, okay, the parabolic move is broken, so the parabolic allocation of money into gold is broken, and that introduces the shift from risk off, which gold is, right, to risk on, what crypto mainly is. And that was somewhat true. Then because afterwards we saw the altcoins doing really, really well. But now we do see Bitcoin or gold once more breaching its all-time high and or approaching it. Yeah, actually it has put in a new all-time high here, as we see this small wick to the upside. And that is something that is maybe people are fearful, right? Usually gold allocation happens when people are fearful, when things are on the horizon. But also, it tells us something about Bitcoin. Actually, Bitcoin is already in this chart. 1 second. There we go. And that is that usually the gold is usually front running the next move of Bitcoin, right? And we are going to stretch this in the right way here, so that we can see where things are going, right? But this is always a little bit difficult. There we go. So yeah, maybe we even go on the weekly, so we do see a little bit more where the correlations lie, because on the weekly it's a little bit more accurate. And then you can see what's basically happening, right? So we do see here's the correlation is almost perfect here, and then we did see gold front running, gold and Bitcoin moving almost at the same time, and then here we do see gold front running Bitcoin, and we did cover that last time, right? As we did see here also, we saw Bitcoin gold front running Bitcoin on this move. And you remember when we covered this, right? When you were here, we remembered it, or you remember it, when we actually dipped, when gold was starting to rally hard, right? We did dip, and this was a really ugly dip. This was a dip where still people did discuss whether this bull market is already over or not, right? And now we're somewhat in a similar situation. We do have this long sideways move of gold where Bitcoin caught up. And now that Bitcoin is correcting a little bit here, but gold is already moving. Gold is already moving, and we will see how much gold will move. But we also see that it can some days, and maybe the whole September, until Bitcoin really starts taking off towards where gold is headed. But this shows me that there is more to come, and that everything that we're looking at shows September meh, but then we really see some rallies, right? Deep sip of coffee here, really nice. Okay, so keep gold in mind, and we will keep it up here for the stream. And there are other things that are going to play into this, right? So for example, we do see right now a consolidation in the DXY, so in the dollar strength against other currencies. We did see this uptick. Also, this is front running a little bit the movements in crypto. Do we have it here? Yeah, so it's not that easy, because you have this inverted, right? Maybe we can, if we invert, maybe it's a little bit better to see. Yeah. We are expecting to see this signal to go lower, and that would mean that Bitcoin should be going higher, right? But here we do not have a clear signal yet, as this seems to be consolidating, but what we do see is after this bearish retest, a lower high here, and so we're expecting in the trend a lower low as well on the DXY. So that is definitely happening. Now, what is going on behind the curtains is that whales are massively piling into Bitcoin right now. We do not see, we do see accumulator addresses demand here in general. So basically not only whales, but everyone. And we do see that this demand is sky high. This doesn't mean that you cannot have a correction into this at the same time, right? But here we also see the spike, and then it dropped off, and we had this correction, right? But right now we do see massive demand here for Bitcoin, right? Also, this is a long-term one, but it should fuel excitement. This coming from Royal Pal. Comparison of the internet with Bitcoin and reaching 5 million wallets versus 5 million IP addresses. We do see that the adoption on Bitcoin is faster than the adoption of the internet, right? So the total users internet, we do see here in black, and then we do have the Bitcoin growth, adoption growth here in red, right? And we do see that if this is going faster, right, then it's interesting over the time that you will, until 2030, which is basically let's say the point where you have the full mass adoption, so to say, on 4 billion crypto users, if we were to adopt in this rate, right? Oh hey, Mustard Man with a $7.99 Australian dollars. How is it going? It's going really, really well. Thank you very much. And that is actually a really nice sticker there. So greetings to, I guess, Australia, right? If it's Australian dollars. Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate the support to this channel. Thank you. Guys, by the way, if you want to support but you don't want to give a donation or anything, then just smash up the like button. It really helps the algorithm to understand that this content is watchable. If you believe that it is, then you could do that. And oh, actually, I just saw that this, I don't know what happens if I click here, but you can celebrate the 5th super sticker, I think, on this live stream. So it just said it's the 5th. So thank you very much. You even made history here. Yeah, so 4 billion users coming in or 3 billion on top of the almost apparently. I mean, they are calculating IP addresses versus wallets, right? And we need to be very careful here, because if we see the statistics, we believe, oh, there is 942 million users. I don't know if that's really true. Because if we calculate wallet addresses, for example, I do have 5 different Bitcoin wallets. I have an exchange wallet, I have a ledger, I have another exchange wallet, right? Then I have one wallet in mining app and so on, right? So I would count as 4 people here, right? We don't know, we don't know just yet, right? But okay, so that is going on. So basically, the conclusion of this is that basically with the digital assets and the adoption and so on, that the market cap of Bitcoin should go to 200 trillion in 10 years, right? According to Raoul Pal, which is then what is the Bitcoin price at 100 trillion? Does it say that Eddie here, or what is it right now? Is like 2 trillion. So then it's and we're at 100K. So that means sorry, 2 trillion. So we are at 10 trillion at a million. So then that goes to 10 million. Is that the right math? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. But anyways, you can read his thread over everything. That he goes over everything on this month's end that we saw 2 days ago. I mean, yeah, but as always, like currency debasement and whatnot. For me, on the technical side, we do have a comparison here from 2017 to now that is very compelling. That comparison would bring us into a massive mega move, but it's really like, what the heck? I mean, it really looks the same, this fractal, right? And the craziest thing is even that this fractal piece where we are right now happened in somewhere from somewhere October-ish, in October, where our comparison is right now in September, right? So it's only 1 month off, even that, like from the cycle jumping to one full cycle, right? And we do have this flag, right? We had this flag. We have the pump out of this flag with retest, right? We do have this dropping megaphone or whatever that is, right? We did have this exactly like this here, almost exactly. We have this rise, not as steep here as it was here, but therefore we are a little bit earlier on that. Who knows, right? And now, according to that, we would pump, have a huge correction, and then go again, right? So maybe that happens exactly this time again, right? It looks very, very similar. I have to give credit to that to this guy, right? Looks very similar. History doesn't repeat, but rhymes, right? Imagine this pump bringing us directly to 150,000 or something like that. Can you remove the chats from your stream window? Maybe some parts are hard to see now. Okay, I can do that, but usually it's only covering the side chat here. But I can do it. Yes, I can remove the chat from time to time. Okay, but the chat is important. I mean, there you go, right? That's basically, this could be happening, right? This could be happening as a consequence of this. And the funny thing is, people then see the straight line and they're like, but they don't see that there are actually corrections in here, right? There are actually dips and really nasty dips in here, but they refuse to see this, right? So yeah, that is something that I find very interesting in those fractal comparisons. Now we do have something here on the fear and greed index, and that is that we had been in fear territory and now we're back to neutral. That also gives a little bit of a glimpse into we might be already done with our correction, or at least bottoming, as people are not as fearful anymore. Today we do start, by the way, just to also keep everyone posted, today we will start a sequence of economic data that we're going to get. So we will get the ISM manufacturing PMI at 4 p.m. on today, which is 4 p.m. Central European time. So that is the first step in a sequence of economic data that will continue tomorrow with job openings, very important, that will continue with the ISM services, and then non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. So this sequence will lead up to next week and the week after, where the rate cut is supposedly happening, right? But yeah, there we go. And that could cause some volatility, right? Depending on how this economic data is coming in. But we do see that on this daily, we already see some recovery, but we all know that can be very short-lived. Yeah. Okay. That was the fear and greed index. And then just to recap, we did look at gold, but we also have our global M2, and both point in the direction of going up. And it seems to me that global M2, when it goes up, right, it depends on the data, right? Because you have different sets of data, because people basically they take countries into consideration. Some others do not take certain countries into consideration for global M2. So it really depends on the data whether there is an all-time high or not, right? So for example, here in the chat, we do have this guy saying we do not have an all-time high just yet on global M2. So that means that there's a difference in their M2 data set, right? But what we see is that we do diverge extremely in this 81-day offset, in this correlation from in his, right? So we do still have a 180-day correlation that is extremely well, but we do have an extreme deviation by minus 23% right now compared to the global M2. And I think the reason really is, if more people are looking at, like he does, at this chart where there's no new all-time high yet, then people are hesitant because they think there might be a top formation going on here in M2. So no more. Some people are saying, and this is also interesting to see, right? What is the current sentiment in the market? No more correlation. Bear coming for corn. Shakeout more likely than not, but who knows for sure. Are you excluding India? No, it's included. Why no correlation at this point? It's been non-correlated plenty of times in the past and so on, right? So we do see it. That we also, the funny thing is when Bitcoin outperforms here, the same way of decorrelation, then no one complains, right? People complain when the correlation is going outside. Then he says, I provided both charts to Grok as well as my source code, and Grok said this is why the charts differ. As chart is showing global liquidity index and mine is showing global M2. Thus they are showing slightly different things. So that, yeah, this is very important, right? Based on a review of similar publicly available scripts and common practices in the crypto trading community, it's highly likely calculating and plotting a global liquidity index rather than a true aggregation of national M2 money supplies. This distinction explains the discrepancy in the current values and the breakout to new all-time high in that chart. So the global liquidity index is at all-time high, the global M2 aggregated not yet. But the question that I would then ask AI is whether global liquidity index would show where global M2 is likely to go or something like that. Is Crow a pump and dump? I don't think so. Hey Rona, a good day, smash the like, folk. We're going to look at altcoins in a second, but first, let's welcome the Rare Hodlers. The Rare Hodler fam, we do have them in the chat. We do have Pro Legendary here, Sub Boys. We do have Pukal Jotrich, GM, fellow hodlers, and GM to UPH, Green Morning, LFG Crackheads. G Money bringing us the coffee as well. Good morning to you. So thank you to each and every one of you, all the rare hodlers, for supporting me here. And by the way, we can also remove the chat here so we can see everything if we are already fair here. If you want to support the channel in this way, then there is one tier, exactly one tier, I think it's $5 or something like that per month, where you can subscribe. You'll get access to Telegram group. You can exchange the ideas. I think there are about 30 people in this Telegram group. Talking about crypto, talking about Ecomi, Vivi, and so on, talking about altcoins, which altcoins are going to go nuts, and so on. So that, and if you only want to support but not be in the Telegram group, that's also fine. If not, then as always, smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, notifications on to never miss out, and back to the stream. That is important. Let's look at the altcoin market. This is on the weekly. So because the question rose here, whether there is a pump and dump or not, right? I mean, Crow is up 64% on the weekly, together with some selected coins. This screen somehow is larger than the rest, so we do see it here, right? Jupiter on the left there, a little bit in green, but we do see some things are on green on the week. We do have meme core leading the week now with 92%, but Crow is still massively up, so I don't think it's a pump and dump, right? And if we look at the chart, I mean, it's normal that when things go up that much, that there is a corrective phase or a corrective move, right? I mean, whatever low you want to take, but only this move is 153%. So, and by the way, we did here on the channel say that you should consider, not financial advice, taking profits and see what's happening. Based on the RSI, we did it, right? And see what's happening. We did correct already 33%. So you would have some, I mean, of course you wouldn't nail this exact wick high. So maybe you're down 25% from where we set that or something like that, right? But the overall thing is that every impulse move has a corrective move, right? And then there is another impulse move potentially until the end, right? But this correction can go deep, right? We can go all the way back to 20 cents or something like that before we find a bottom here, especially if alts are going to bleed into Bitcoin, Ethereum in September. Then we could see something like that. But overall, for Kronos, I mean, look at this, right? We have really spiked. And this, by the way, this is, I mean, it's not the first time, right? We do see it all the time. Boom, correction. Boom, correction. Boom, correction. Boom, correction, right? I mean, it's just something that Kronos does from time to time, right? And then at some point, probably the parabolic move to the dollar, right? Which would be 4x from the current level. And then we're back to all-time high. Will that happen? No guarantees, of course. No guarantees. By the way, on the monthly, we are not overbought. We have never entered overbought territory on the monthly, which, according to all previous altcoin seasons, is something that would happen before the top is in, right? So maybe Kronos will not go to its previous all-time high, but a little bit shy of it. But definitely I would say past 70 cents or so will happen. We do see that Kronos hits all-time high at an RSI of 80. So latest then, I would say, profits for Kronos, right? Profit taking on Kronos. We also do like MCAT on this channel. So let's look at the MCAT here as well. And maybe we are taking the Bitmart chart, right? So unfortunately, the break was not successful here on the monthly. We do have this territory here, this white line where no monthly candle closes happen above. So we do have this trading range basically happening right now. Let's see. I do believe that this coin is going to completely rip at some point, right? Rip to Valhalla and beyond, right? Absolutely nuts, right? Right now we are sitting with MCAD at 839, which with sub $20 million market cap, right? By the way, in this bracket where MCAD is, we do have coins that do 400% on a month. Everyone that screams for a bear market clearly has no idea what is going to happen in this market. We do have coins where the rest of the market is red that have their time right now. Okay, so Font Smart Chain up 404%, whereas Aria and TA are up 130%, right? Hey Mewtwo, what is going on? GM fam, smash like, absolutely. So we do have these phenomena, and then people are like, oh my god, my coin is not buying. I should have been in Fon, right? No, you shouldn't. You should just be patient until your coin goes nuts. Because while Fon is pumping, MCAD is minus 30% on an absolute discount to buy, right? So that is happening. Here also, at each bracket you look, there's, oh my god, this coin that I'm not in is pumping. Yeah, okay, that's just the nature of the game, but at some point it will. It's just with, like with Ecomi, right? Ecomi was 3 years a coin that did not pump, now it's up. Of course, it's not nearly where it was before. Let's be realistic, but Ecomi, right now, it's up. The correction, not really deep. We do see this support actually holding quite some time, right? Here, maybe on the daily a little bit clearer. So we do see this support holding. Maybe we will drop lower, who knows, right? I mean, there is no real support until down here. But overall, the fact that OMI holds since basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 week above this level is really good, right? It's really good. We didn't see that for a long time, right? Here it did not hold above its level when right? So we did not see that for a long time. So it's good to see that for OMI. By the way, for OMI, when we're already talking about this coin, we do see burns, right? Burns coming up. Foster Hill posting here, in the last 2 months, there was only 1 day where at least 1 million OMI tokens were burned on the Stacker World marketplace. We are barely 8 hours into leaderboard rewards, and just the top 10 users have already burned 1.15 million tokens. So, of course, 1.15 million tokens, that's only, what is the price right now? That's like 300, that's about $350, right? Something like that. But it's burns, right? And the burns may increase. So we do see that the leaderboard is effective, right? And we see Jeremy Padawa coming into the mix here, also saying this is a start. There's 300 billion tokens at the current depleted price. 1 million burned per day depletes the supply in about 1,000 years. That's correct. We had a moment where supply was 10 to 20 years. Kudos for beginning. Need about 50x the burn price pressure. Do we have to 50x it? Let's break, because right now with 1 million it's 1,000 years. 2 million would be 500 years, right? So I don't know where we want to go to, but obviously we need to, I think it needs to increase much more than that, which is absolutely possible, because also if the OMI price goes up, then listings are for less OMI, and then you need more transaction to reach the same OMI burn, right? So the moment the price goes up, you need more burns, more listings, more users, more activity to burn the same amount of OMI, right? So that needs to be factored in. That's a constructive thing right here, as Padua says. Fossil says, I don't want to take any specific snapshot in time as potential indication of future burn or price, but I would say that token burn is a byproduct of interest and engagement. Ultimate user retention and adoption will be the biggest indicator of potential success. I would rather have millions of users joining the ecosystem and utilizing the token for utility rewards and focusing on the price or value of what is they are using to participate. This is also something we need to factor in here with the tokens, right? Jeremy Padua is looking where the reserve is depleted, but that's not the objective, right? You are not looking to deplete the supply. You're looking to reduce the supply, and therefore, so to say, the people that are holding this token and not spending this token get rewarded as an investment, whereas the others are using it as a utilization token in the ecosystem, right? So you need to have, you don't need to burn through 300 billion tokens. You only need, even if you only would burn through a third of that, it would massively increase the price already, right? Because only seeing that the token is becoming more scarce is already a good thing, right? So because then so let's say we do see these burns go to 2 million a day, right? So double in burn, then already we do see a new tendency here. And that would mean that other people are speculating on the OMI price going upwards, which makes collectibles cheaper, and therefore they are going to buy and temporarily lock OMI, which makes the price go up by speculation, right? Absolutely nice market, common sense in the market. That's how it happens in the market, right? That's how it happened in the last bull run. So the fact that we do have these burns is going to set off potentially a wheel of market mechanisms that lead to higher prices. Smash likes, folks. Absolutely. Hey, Troy Paris, what is going on? Good to see you. Giving tokens away, don't know if that is good strategy. Most will get dumped on the market. It is a good strategy because you need to buy tokens and spend them in that ecosystem, to where on spending them there's always a burn, and then you will receive rewards. It's like a cashback, right? It is a good idea because basically who spends a lot gets a lot cashback, right? So they can spend again. You will not get more giveaway than you did spend. So there will never be more dump than what you already spent. And every spending, let's say you spend 10 million tokens, 250,000 of that or so is going to go to the burn, right? So this way there is somewhat of a rotation, yeah. And instead of so what they can do is they collect. So they can use the OMI token to incentivize burn of OMI tokens, right? What Vivi already has, and basically cost them nothing to create more engagement and benefit then from the fees. Yeah. Penguin says, that was from Penguin, sorry. Troy says, nice to see different people in the leaderboard on Stacker. Is that counting the huge amount of OMI that is locked up for 1,000 years? That is not factored in these 300 billion. The original supply was, I think I have to look at my old videos, but there are old videos where I break everything down. but the original supply was like 600 billion or so. And then 97 billion, so almost 100 billion, was locked up in a smart contract accident. And then there was like the rest, the other 200 something billion, they were part of the original VV ecosystem where things were coming from a reserve wallet into a vault wallet, and from the vault wallet into the burn wallet. And then when they revamped the system and got rid of this underlying Ecomi tokenomics, they moved the entire reserve and vault to the burn wallet, only leaving what has been distributed to the founders, original advisors, the business development wallet, and I think that's it, right? So and then what people had in circulation, right? Leaving it's less than 300 billion. If I recall it right, it was already only like 270 billion or so that actually was in circulation, and I think it was something like that. But less than that. And then there is, from that, I think there is at least 60 billion or so. Everything that David and Dan have is still on Go chain and has never been migrated. So that all has not seen any circulation, right? And they cannot migrate these tokens, because the moment that they do, price will dump like hell into the nothing. Penguin says, I think David and Dan are waiting for the perfect wave with most announcements, like them burning their own 30 billion OMI tokens, more utility roadmap, exchanges, Dragon Ball Z, and Pokemon. I do think that too, because we do see that when we had our altcoin spark and altcoin wave, and we did see, so someone in their circle knows enough about crypto that they waited until Ethereum went ballistic for their first announcements with OMI to Gem, right? I mean, it's not a coincidence. Even though they always say they don't care about this, like where, when, how is the market, it's still, they still do this, right? So I think they still do. They analyze the market. They look exactly when it makes sense to drop it, because they did see when they launched Blackpink, which is one of the biggest brands in Asian music, right, or Asia-rooted music, but has fan base all across the world. Nothing worked, right? Nothing worked. They even partnered with Wendy O, or at least they used Wendy O to get some traction on that. But nothing of that had any effect, right? So they saw, okay, you launch big fat brand into no hype at all, poof, right? It's just going into nothingness. So I think that's what they consider. And anyways, right? We did see, I showed this yesterday, I'm showing it today. This is the first time in a long time that OMI is popping up because of their move in different sites. It will get visibility. People will look into what is OMI about, how it works, the tokenomics, and so on. And it's appearing in the gaming tokens. And that is very important, because gaming tokens are going to go crazy, right? Gaming tokens are going to have a really nice time, and MCAT is also in that bracket, right? It's not here because it did not pump, but it will pump someday, and then it will be also up there. And I mean, these sites, they do have like almost 100,000 followers. By the way, MCAT is following them as well. So we might expect that, right? Troy Paris says, is that counting the huge amount of OMI that is locked up for 1,000 years? That I answered. I would, he says, continuing, I would love to see an update on what is left on in circulation supply of OMI. It's been years since I heard anyone do that. Okay, got it. I'm going to look into that. Let's see what we can find out, because it has been increasingly hard to see what's left over and whatnot, right? Also because I don't know if the VV team, the Ecomi team, is correctly reporting that on CoinGecko and CryptoMarketCap, and if there is still one distinct burn wallet to monitor. But I'm going to look into that a little bit more and see what I can find out and what I can do. But anyways, guys, now smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, notifications on, consider becoming a rare hodler, join our Telegram group to get more and instant update on crypto. I do think that this September is going to be interesting but also stressful, and then we will see what we can do. We got another super sticker here from Troy Paris, $20 super sticker with gold. Yeah, no, it's going to be a really great time. Thank you so much for all the support that I'm experiencing here from you guys. Keeps me going every time. Not only the money, but just I'm enjoying this every morning with my coffee here. I'm looking to find content, waking up early, trying to find the best content for you guys, what you need to know. So I really appreciate that kind of feedback that you guys are giving me. So thank you very much to Troy. Thank you also to I think it was Mustard Man for the donation. Yeah, Troy is MVP rare hodler. Yeah, Troy already deserves the next tier, right? Very, very true. We need to think about things that are that need to happen. So we'll end it here anyways. I would love to enjoy more time here with you guys, but I only have those 45 minutes today. So wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I catch you in the next video or live stream. Have a good one, and bye.